right. Hello and welcome to episode 57 of the Rhody podcast. Today I'm joined by a good friend of mine, right-handed relief pitcher from the University of Rhode Island, originally from Union, New Jersey, Zach Fernandez. I appreciate you taking the time again to join me. What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well. So, let's get right into it. We were talking a little bit before we started recording, but just like preparing for this summer, you have a big season coming up next spring as we're going to be seniors. So I'm just wondering, what kind of ways you're staying in shape and, preparing this summer.
Uh, it's a long summer, so usually guys play summer ball and stuff like that. So, I actually talked to my coaches. They thought it would be best for me to take the summer off, enjoy the summer, and get focused more on the weight room side of it, and developing more as a pitcher, like I told you before.
Yeah.
So, focusing more on that would be, I think, better for me in the long run. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I always find it interesting that there's not so much of, obviously there's consistency and that's a big part of pitching. You want to make sure that you're always getting your reps in, but there's also the side of strength and conditioning that a lot of other people don't realize that goes into, athletes and student athletes. So I always find that interesting. And, sometimes just to give yourself a break is not the worst thing in the world. Plenty of pitchers, plenty of other people, athletes and stuff like that take breaks, mental health breaks, stuff like that. It's so important in just sports in general. So, obviously it's needed. And, I think a lot of people forget that, we're all humans too. So definitely understand, what goes into that, but it's definitely nice to see that, you're working on the training side of things and still hitting the gym while at it. And like I said, next season's a big one. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully we make it a lot farther than we did this past season. So it's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So a question I love to start with, with all the athletes and coaches, some of the guests that I have on is, just what is your why or what motivates you?
It's actually a good question. I guess, something that really motivates me has to be definitely my grandfather. I don't have my glove with me, but I have his name on it, his name on my glove. He's definitely one of the guys that introduced me to the game of baseball. So he's definitely an important piece of my life. And he actually passed when I was really young, so I didn't really get to spend a lot of time with him, but I definitely remember the few times I did. So he's definitely the reason why I play this game, and is a big part. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
ask that question to everyone and almost always it's family. Family's just so important. And the last few years with everything that's been going on, especially in the world, it's crazy how much, we rely on family for everything in life, not just sports and everything. So they're your biggest supporters. I know you're a Yankees fan as well. He actually he came from Texas. He came from the Rangers, but Jose Trevino, his
Yeah,
father passed and he hit the walk-off home run. Not the home run. I think he hit a walk-off a couple weeks ago and
yeah,
he dedicated it to the Texas because that was
yeah,
the day of the mass shooting, and then also I think it was on his father's birthday. So just cool
yeah.
stories like that. I feel like I'm always kind of seeing that, especially in baseball too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, family's always a big one that people always, they're of the reason why. So my grandfather's been always a big, aspect
Yeah,
of my life. So yeah.
yeah, for sure. So I want to start, with the beginning of your career. You kind of already answered this question, but again, just work my way through the questions of, where you are now and kind of go through some of the seasons that you've had. So like I said, you're originally from Union, New Jersey. I'm curious, how you became attracted to the game of baseball. You talked about your grandfather a little bit, but also were you playing any other sports growing up, or was it always kind of this passion or this love for baseball?
Yeah, I played a good amount of sports. I played soccer, basketball, and obviously baseball. Did a little wrestling, but I always loved baseball. My brother loves. I'm actually a twin brother. I have a twin brother, so
Oh, okay.
we love baseball. He always loves watching ESPN and stuff like that. So getting to talk to him about baseball and just talking baseball with my family, my parents, it's really a big thing. Um, but yeah, just growing up, living baseball, played it all through my young career from 8 youths all the way to middle school. Played middle school ball. Ooh, sorry about that. Quick edit.
Nah, it's
There we
all
go.
good. I can cut around that. That's not the first time that's happened. I interviewed a basketball player and he was doing it from a gym, and the
Yeah,
same thing happened. It was like the lights just went off, so he had to
yeah.
like
It's just
motion
like if there's
sensor.
no if there's no motion in here,
Yeah.
then it cuts off. But
No, it's all good. It's all good.
yeah, sorry about that. But
No worries.
yeah, just playing middle school ball, and then up to that, then got into my high school years. Played. I was the only freshman on varsity, so that was pretty cool. And then had a pretty good high school year. Had first conference a couple times and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know really how much you want me to
No,
describe.
it's
You
all
want
good.
me? You sure?
No,
I
you
mean,
can go as long as you want. I mean, I just want to hear, more about how you got into the sport. And I always find that sort of interesting. I think a
yeah,
reason that I love doing this podcast and just like interviewing athletes, especially at URI, is because like again, a lot of people don't realize that they're kind of just students like me and you. And
yeah,
that I kind of want to tell like stories of like whether it's a basketball player or a soccer player or even baseball player. I kind of want to tell the stories like underneath like the jersey or behind the number because I feel
yeah,
like the media so much like focuses on like performance. This guy had a horrible outing, a horrible, you know,
yeah,
pitch like appearance or whatever. He gave up like 3 home runs or something. Like,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
feel like there's more to that. There's more of like just a story of an upbringing or how an athlete got into the sport rather than just like
yeah.
he had a great performance or he did shit. So it's like, I definitely want to hear more about why people get into the sports that they get into. So
Yeah.
that's definitely a great answer there.
Yeah, I mean, we can even talk about it more as like my early high school years. I was only freshman in high school, in my high school varsity team. So, it was a little tough. I was like, I'm not a big guy, so just imagine me as a freshman in high school. I wasn't the biggest guy on the team. I was really small. Didn't really grow that much all the way up to my junior year, but I had an okay year my freshman year, and then sophomore year I actually did really bad, actually terrible. Like I never thought I was gonna play college baseball in my sophomore year. Like I really didn't pitch well, didn't play well, didn't hit well. I just thought I was all right. I'm just gonna play for fun. And then that summer, something just clicked. I guess I just hit a really fast growth spurt, and it just took off from there. Had a really good summer. Got a couple of scouts attentions and stuff like that. So did well my junior and senior year. So yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, I guess going off that, you commit to the University of Rhode Island. You
right.
talk about some scouts, some people getting, recognition of what you're doing. They're starting to realize, what you're doing at the high school level. Did you have any other offers from other schools? And, what I guess went into the decision to come to URI?
So I didn't really. URI was actually my first offer. I went to visit a lot of other schools. I visited Stony Brook, Maine. Um, I mean, I visited Monmouth. I can't really come up with a lot of schools at the top of my head, but I
No, it's all
visited a
good.
good amount of schools. Yeah, and I really loved URI. As soon as Coach OB texted me, um, I knew I had a chance. Basically, I just loved the communication we had together and talking with the coaches. Just realized it was a better future for me. So yeah, visited the school, loved the campus, loved the team, loved the coaches. Yeah,
Yeah, great facility. And I mean, I feel like I'm also a rising senior just like you. So, I feel like we haven't really gotten to experience like at least some of the students haven't really gotten to experience, what this program has done because like our freshman year obviously got interrupted by COVID and then sophomore year, I think we moved out early, so I didn't really get the opportunity to like broadcast or cover any of the games until really this year. So like
yeah,
I always knew the baseball field was there. I always knew Bill Beck was there. I always knew the facilities were there. Just I never really got to see the team perform and play up
yeah,
until this year. So it's like, it's so impressive, some of the athletic facilities that, and I talked to like anyone from like Thor Bjorn to any athlete for any program. And it's like so impressive what a little school like in the smallest state like the University of Rhode Island has to offer. So it's definitely incredible to see that, and especially with the baseball program. I mean, not too many years ago, we were Atlantic 10 champions, not too far off. So
yeah,
I feel like we're definitely on that track to get there again. I definitely think that the young talent is there, and I just saw I think on Twitter either yesterday or 2 days ago it was another I think a shortstop just committed to the
yeah,
program. So we're keep bringing in that young talent, and this program has a lot to offer. So I understand where you're coming from by saying
yeah,
that.
yeah. there's a lot of new guys coming in, especially next year. I think there's like 10. I don't know how many guys, but I know there's a good amount of pitchers. I don't want to say the wrong number or anything, but I know there's a good amount of pitchers coming in. So, a lot of young guys coming in, trying to show off, show what they got. So it's going to be fun. Hopefully it's a better year than we had this past year. So let's make something happen, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I have a few other questions, but I just thought of this one.
Yeah.
So I guess is it like competitive? Is it sort of like spring training? Guys are fighting for spots, they're fighting for roles at the beginning of the season, or how does it really work internally?
So usually in the fall is usually like a big tester. Like they don't really really judge you for like if you don't perform well or anything. They just look at like how you handle things basically. Like how do you handle a bad outing or how do you handle like failure or stuff like that? Like how do you respond? Like are you responding in a positive way or a negative way pretty much. And that's really what I've learned in the past 3 years that I've been here. I had a okay year my freshman year. I learned a lot. So, when you come in freshman year, it's a little scary, but you learn a lot like the following year. So going into my senior year, you see a lot of things. You're not surprised by a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. That actually transitions me perfect into like my next question, which was actually about your freshman year.
Yeah.
So we alluded to COVID before, and how that impacted our college experiences. But, I guess just in your freshman year, to read off some of your stats, 13 games, and then the season was canceled. And you went off. I thought you had a pretty good freshman campaign, just looking at some of your numbers, finishing 2-0, 10.1 innings pitched, 4.2 ERA. But my question for you is just as a student athlete, how has COVID impacted you? And, what was the biggest lesson that you've learned, I guess, just through this pandemic?
COVID really affected a lot of guys, especially like the school year. Um, even the school year just alone affected a lot. I don't really know where I'm going off this, but it just affected me personally just because I didn't wasn't really comfortable with online school. I always like in person learning and stuff like that. So especially shutting down again for the season. I'm used to playing from February all the way to March, May. So like just not playing for those months was really hard. Takes your mind off of the school. So the school aspect and I don't really know. I mean, it is what it is. My freshman year, couldn't really do much about it until
Yeah.
like the summer. I got to play. I was lucky to play in the summer for a local league, so I was happy about that. But freshman year it is what it is. It was really, I wish I would have played a whole season. It was a really really good team that year. I remember we had a lot of guys, could have done a lot. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate. I mean, again, I feel like everything happens for a reason. So I think there was definitely a reason why COVID hit and, sort of what happened there. But if I'm not corrected, like you guys get an extra year of eligibility, right? Because of COVID or
Right. Yeah. So I have a fifth year. So
okay,
I have 2 more years. 2 more years? Yeah, 2 more years of eligibility
sure.
left here. So,
Sure. Yeah, I mean that's definitely I'm glad the NCAA did that too and just across like all sports because so many athletes were either, getting beat up physically, mentally by COVID, like, and they couldn't even perform, in the classroom or even, on the court or in the field. So just to kind of give them an extra opportunity to, enjoy the college experience and also just like, perform because a lot of athletes are hoping to, advance onto the next level, whether it's an MLB, NBA, whatever it is. So like for the NCAA to do that, I'm really happy that they gave athletes like you that opportunity. If you dealt with that COVID year, here's another opportunity. Because a lot of guys like debate, should I take a red shirt year, should I not, and then that kind of determines whether or not they'll get the fifth year. But now it's kind of like either way, you could play your freshman year, but if you experience COVID and some of the effects of that, doesn't matter if you took a red shirt year. Some guys now can play 5, 6 years at the college level, and that's like so impressive to me. So it's
yeah.
definitely interesting.
Oh yeah, it's definitely after since COVID, it's been a little interesting for any of the guys to get extra years. So including if they've got redshirted before. So it's
Yeah,
pretty cool to get to play with them a little more than usual. So get
yeah,
to
for sure.
have them around, learn from them. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and it like strengthens those bonds too with your teammates and everything like that.
yeah,
It just
exactly.
makes you guys closer in the end. And so I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, moving on to your sophomore year. Another solid performance, I would say. 4-3, two saves, 19 relief appearances, recorded 38 strikeouts, 8 walks of the 36 innings of work. And you finished with a 3 ERA on the dot. So not bad. What can you just share, I guess, from, that season? I guess, it's the first somewhat real season since all of this happened with COVID. What can you share about it? What was that experience like for you?
Um, going into it, I wasn't really expecting much. I know I had to work my ass off for it because there was a lot of guys that were older, had more experience. So, talking to my coach prior to that season, I had a lot of work to do and a lot to show like what I was made of. So that was really a huge season that, I had to prove something. And, it worked in my advantage. I had a pretty good season, pretty well. I learned a lot. Definitely throwing 36 innings in relief is pretty tough,
Yeah.
You got to be ready to go like almost every other day or every day like during the season. So yeah, it was learned a lot that season,
Yeah.
especially the
I mean,
full season.
yeah, I give those relievers like yourself like so much credit. Just come in those big situations. Like there's so much pressure on you because the starter does their job, and then whether you have the lead or the offense is trying to come back and get the lead back, like you're in a tough position because you have to make sure that really no runs are given up at all. You just got to make sure that you get through the inning to get either the offense back up or to keep the lead at where it is, especially in the later innings. So I definitely give you guys a lot of credit. And I mean, throwing 36 innings of relief I can't imagine like being tired and then going off to play. You played summer baseball right after that, right? For the
Yeah,
Waves. So
yeah, I played for 2 months after that. So
yeah, talk about that a little bit. Playing for the Ocean State Waves. I always kind of wonder what collegiate baseball is like in the summer.
summer ball it's a lot of fun, definitely. You meet a lot of guys, you meet guys all the way from the east of Mississippi all the way to Florida, Oregon, literally all over the US. So you meet guys all over. So it's pretty cool. It's a little more relaxed than the season, but everyone's still playing to win a championship in the summer. So trying to prove a point, earn bragging rights, especially when, how you have certain teams, talk a little smack. So it gets a little fun. Gets pretty fun. You got to entertain the
Yeah.
fans, entertain the team. So it gets fun.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as a sports media major, I have a couple of friends obviously in New England and they like stay there over the summer to do like some of the internships and stuff like that. And I've always wanted to do it. I feel like New York and
Yeah.
New Jersey don't really offer anything like that. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
but
Yeah. I mean, they have the Hamptons. I was actually supposed to play there my freshman year in the Hamptons,
oh,
but
really? What
yeah.
team?
So, what was that?
What team? I have a summer house out there. So I was thinking about
Oh,
potentially
really?
maybe
I
what
think it was Shelter Island. I think
okay.
Shelter Island. I think so. I was supposed to
Yeah.
play there, but I never did. That was during COVID. So that's when everything was shut down. So I ended up playing for a local team, and then the following year, obviously, I played for the Waves. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
I forgot the name of the team, but I have a house in Sag Harbor, if you know where that is. So
Oh yeah, yep. Sackler. Yep.
yeah, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think there's actually a couple guys actually staying in the Hamptons right now. I
Oh,
think
really?
Genther is staying down there.
Okay.
Gavin, and a couple other guys, a couple other freshmen, I think. So yeah,
Okay.
if you ever want to check it out, yeah, they're down there right now.
Yeah, I was thinking because I go out there maybe every couple weekends through the summer. I live like on the other side of Long Island, like full time,
Yeah.
obviously. But some weekends, like throughout the summer, I'll go out there and like just enjoy the beach, whatever, with my family.
Okay.
So I was thinking about maybe staying there one summer. I don't think the internships are paid, but it's definitely a good experience. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of friends that are working with I know one guy working with the Waves, or one or two guys working with the Waves, and then one guy who's working with Vermont, I guess the Mountaineers or something. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Let me get back. Let me get back to where we were. So that was sophomore year. Let's go on to this past season.
Oh man. Good.
Definitely some ups and downs. But
Yeah.
overall, I think it was a good learning experience. It was a good year. Just get into some of your numbers: 28.2 innings pitched, 28 strikeouts, a 2.3 win-loss record, and a 9.1 ERA across the 17 appearances. So really this team, I mean, just watching them again, like for the full season for the first time, I thought it was really impressive how you guys had this coming back mentality. I mean, you started off the season as a team, struggling, playing some really tough opponents in the SEC down south. And then, at the beginning of the season, then eventually going into conference play, I mean, you guys came along and fought through some adversity. You played some crucial weekend series that you were able to come back and win. So I feel like, again, like for a lot of students, this was, their first experience really getting a glimpse of what this program has to offer. So, if you could just, talk about, your biggest takeaway or, maybe a lesson learned from this past season. Obviously, there were the highs, the lows, but,
Yeah.
I think riding into next season, there's a chip on a lot of guys' shoulders of, what we have to do to kind of settle this unfinished business.
Oh yeah. I mean, tough season for sure. I mean, a lot of ups and downs. A lot of learning experiences too. Long season. A lot of guys learned a lot of things. I mean, even for myself, being patient was the main thing for me. It was a lot. It was really rough the first couple weeks of the season. So, being patient, staying through the grind, like grinding through every weekend. Showing up as much as I can. Yeah, I mean, I forgot what I left off. You remember? Or
Oh yeah, it was a learning experience. You had
yeah,
to, fight through and grind, especially during some of those
yeah,
lows.
yeah, yeah. I mean, grinding through it. It was just a lot of ups and downs. Just trying to learn as much as possible throughout the whole season. Just staying with the program. Um, we weren't able to finish the way we wanted to, but um, I'm proud of the guys the way we were able to come back and at least not give up. So
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, just that mentality. I mean, it's so cliche, but just, no quit, just not giving up.
yeah,
I mean, through all of sports, it's so important because the second you give up or the second you worry about, you gave up a home run or anything like that, that's when everything goes downhill. So just, keeping on that steady track of doing what you got to do, doing your job, and then kind of enjoying those high moments and, learning from those low moments. So, I definitely think it was a learning experience, but again, I really enjoyed, this spring. I think I stayed up until like the last series. I think the last game, May 15th or May 16th, something like that.
yeah,
Against St. Louis, I was there. So it was
yeah,
definitely an interesting experience, definitely covering the team. But I
yeah.
had a lot of fun watching you guys, and I'm looking forward to being a senior next year and watching you guys again. And hopefully we can settle that unfinished business and go all the way. I did watch a couple of the games also. I think a lot of them were streamed on ESPN Plus when you guys went down. It was in Davidson, right? It was supposed to be in the
Yeah.
Bronx, but it was in Davidson, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be in the Bronx, but it got moved to Davidson. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, that was my second tournament appearance. So, it wasn't the way we wanted to show out in the tournament, but, some of the guys, it was their first tournament appearance, like Jack Cooch, most of the freshmen, it was their first tournament appearance. So it was cool to see their reaction, the way they were able to handle their business in the tournament. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. All right, so I got a few more questions for you. We'll jump into some rapid fire questions now. So kind of switch it up a little bit, more of less thinking about it and just giving me fun answers and everything
All
like
right.
that. So we'll get right into it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so if you can compare yourself, to any pitcher, at the professional level, collegiate level, whatever, that you kind of model yourself after, maybe the way that you throw or some of the pitches that you throw, who would that be?
Definitely Mariano Rivera, one of my
Great
favorite
answer.
pitchers. Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it. I have it's like an autograph thing from him.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Oh, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I see it.
Mariano Rivera.
That's cool.
My favorite player of all time.
Oh yeah,
Great answer.
yeah,
Couldn't think of a better answer, honestly.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so I mean, my next question is your favorite pitcher of all time. I assume that's Mariano, or
yeah. It has to. It has to be. Yeah. Well, Pedro's up there too, but Mariano's my all time.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got his jersey too. So I mean, not Pedro, Mariano. I can't wear
yeah,
his jersey. I'm a diehard
yeah.
Yankee fan. I can't wear Pedro, but yeah, no, Mariano is. I mean, do you have like that pitch that he threw? Do you have that?
Cutter, no. I wish I had his cutter, but um, I don't know. I just always looked up to him like with his mechanics and stuff like that, and the way he carried the game, the way
Yeah.
he went about his business was something I always idolized. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he had a story too, or like a documentary, or no, not a documentary. It was like an autobiography that he wrote. I actually read it. He like came up,
really,
yeah, he grew up in Panama, and
yeah,
just kind of like reading about his upbringing was so interesting, so
yeah,
fascinating. Like having to make a glove out of like a
yeah,
cardboard box or
Martin,
something,
yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah, or a milk carton. It's
yeah,
just so fascinating to see where some of these guys like their upbringings and like not having the enough financials to afford equipment and stuff like that, and then going on to be the best closer of all time. It's incredible,
yeah.
like some of those underdog stories. So
Yeah, it was
great
a crazy
answer.
story, crazy story. I mean, I always looked up to him. So even
Yeah,
to this day, always.
yeah.
So, yeah,
If you could choose any batter, past, present, anyone that you have to face stepping into the batter's box, and you have to pitch to him, who would that be?
MLB or just anyone.
Anyone.
Derek Jeter for sure.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go. Another great answer.
yeah.
I'm loving this is man, I don't know if you can see like my room right now, but I'm
Oh
a
yeah.
diehard
Well, I
Yankee
see it.
fan.
I'm checking it out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that's sick, man.
Yeah,
He's coming up with I think he's coming out with a documentary
yeah,
pretty soon. I'm very excited for that. So
yeah. Me too. I'm really excited to see that. That's definitely. I idolized him a lot. I always looked up to him.
yeah.
So
So I mean, going off of that real quick, what
yeah.
would you throw him? I don't know. I hope he's not watching this, but what would you throw him? Like,
Oh man, definitely not a fastball inside because he has an inside out swing. But
yeah,
I don't know. I would have to get a scouting report off of him.
yeah, yeah.
Hopefully,
I'm
I
just
wouldn't give
wondering
up on
like
him.
what your approach would be to even face someone like Jeter. He's just so clutch. It's like anything
Yeah,
you throw him, he's gonna
exactly,
make contact. So
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't really know, but that would definitely I would love to face Derek Jeter for sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
You're the first pitcher I've interviewed. So I was like, I definitely got to ask that question to him.
yeah,
It's like that's a great
for
question.
sure.
But
Yeah,
your favorite pitch to throw,
favorite pitch,
or I guess like just your best pitch. Like if it's two strikes on a guy, like what are you throwing him like to get him to chase?
probably my slider.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely my slider.
gotcha.
Yeah, I
That
probably
that's your
throw it way
favorite.
too much, but I probably love it way too much. But that's
Yeah,
definitely one of my go-tos.
sure,
Yeah,
sure. Um,
yeah.
and then your World Series prediction. I hope the Yankees are in there the way they're playing right now. So
World Series definitely.
don't don't
Let's
even
go
say
back to.
Astros. Don't even say that.
I want to see the Yankees beat the Astros in the ALCS,
I'll
but I
take
want
that.
to see Yankees Dodgers in the World Series.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
going I'm going Yankees Braves. I think the
Yankees,
Braves
that
are
would actually be pretty cool too.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think a little bit of that 90s rematch, that rivalry, or
yeah,
potentially a Subway Series, but I think it'll be Yankees Braves.
yeah. That
So
would be pretty cool too.
yeah,
But those are good matchups too. That's pretty
yeah, I
cool.
know. Let me ask. You can, if you want me to cut this out, I can cut this out. But do you like the Astros, or only because you go down to Houston? I know you were just there, so I
No, I mean you could put this in. My girlfriend lives in
yeah,
Houston, so I had a visit at a Minute Maid, so
yeah.
it was a nice ballpark, but it was
I
pretty
can't
cool to see.
respect the
Definitely.
Astros, man. I can't respect them.
I know. Trust me, I wasn't wearing any Astros gear, so that's for sure.
Does she
I
does
mean,
she root for the Astros, or is she an Astros fan?
yeah, she's a big Astros fan,
I don't
so
know how you do it.
I don't know, man. I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's impressive. All right, and then two more questions for you. Last like rapid fire question here. Your favorite or most memorable moment at URI. It can be, a game, a road trip, or even like something off the field, with the boys in the locker room. Just anything, favorite moment or anything like that.
Um, I think right off the rip, I think definitely my first win last year versus Old Dominion. The first um season win versus the Old Dominion. I came into close. It was pouring raining. Um, Actually, we almost lost that game. Almost threw a ball over the backstop. I remember. And then I just figured it out. Went back out, figured it out, and you know, got us the win. So that was pretty cool. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And that was, you said, the first game, sophomore year?
It was in the first. game. It was the second series.
Oh,
So the
okay.
second weekend of the season, the first game of the first night game of the series.
So that was one of
Um,
your first appearances back from COVID and everything like that too, right? If
Pretty
I'm
much that was my second appearance from
okay,
COVID.
wow.
So
Yes,
yeah.
there you go. I mean, like you were probably so I just thought of this question too. Like, what was that like during quarantine? Like, were you just cooped up, like getting ready for the season? Like, I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I'm just constantly trying to stay prepared in your house. Like, how are you preparing? Like, because it was so many unknown
Yeah.
questions.
I mean, it was a lot. I mean, I kind of figured out like the season wasn't gonna, play out the way everyone hoped it was.
Yeah,
So I kind of shut down for like a month, and then I started preparing for summer ball and stuff like that. I was still throwing like bullpens and stuff like during quarantine, but not as like intense as I probably should have. So like I ended up getting injured the late summer and took some time off. Didn't play the fall ball that fall. So I mean, and then after that, I prepared all the whole winter for the season. So
yeah,
yeah,
I got you. Well, I'm
yeah,
glad I'm glad we're putting that in the past. So
yeah.
no
Oh
more
my
questions about that. So
God.
and you can fix the lights there again.
Yeah, I know. That's like four already.
Yeah, I mean, at least you're getting your exercise and you're getting all.
Yeah, I know.
There you go. And then, the last question I have for you is just, what can you leave, Rhody fans with? If there's a couple of people that support the program that might be watching this at home, I'm sure, again, you guys have a chip on your shoulder from the A10 conference tournament this year. So what can it change that narrative next season? What can you leave the fans with, who might be watching this at home?
Oh man, that's a good question. I mean, definitely a lot of unfinished business we're looking forward to dealing with. Hopefully you guys are able to come out in the spring. Hopefully cheer us on. So that'll be exciting. I mean, I don't really know what to say, but go Rhody.
Course. Of course. Well, Zach, best of luck again. Maybe I'll have you back. I mean, I'm sure we'll be in touch probably before the season or even at the end of the season to recap everything. But again,
Yep.
I'm sure we'll stay in touch and have a great rest of the summer. Stay healthy and everything like that. And of course, go Rhody. That's all I got to
Yeah.
say. And go
Go,
Yankees. I mean, let's keep this up. Let's keep
go
rolling.
Yankees. That's right.
Rolling. But that's probably like an unpopular. I did a Rhode Island podcast and I'm from New York. So it's probably an
Yeah.
unpopular opinion based on a lot of my audience. I don't really know who's watching, but I'll say it. I'm not afraid to say it. I won't
Yeah,
edit this
me
out.
neither.
I might be editing a lot, but I'll say go Yankees. So
Yeah, go Yankees for sure. Definitely.
yeah,
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it.
of course. Thank you, man.
Thanks for having me.